My own hair just got caught in my microphone mount. Ow! Hello everyone, Longhaul here, and welcome back to the channel and another review. Today we are looking at the third set in our Giant Legion Combiner team, aka not Devastator. And with this review we have GLA-03 Craner and GLA-04 Tipper, aka not Hook and not Longhaul. And so far, this set of 6 figures is coming out to be amazing, and I can't wait for the G2 box set. But first, before we get into the review of these two guys, let's take a quick look at the packaging. First up, we got some really nicely posed product shots of our 2 figures, which we'll be looking at shortly. On the side here, we have the Giant Legion logo as usual, and our obligatory vehicle mode product shots. And as you can see, these guys make some pretty good vehicles. Alright, now before we get into the review proper, we have to unbox these guys. See you there. Hey guys, future me here, just letting you know that in this review it might be much sloppier than my previous 2 for several reasons, and I probably mentioned that a couple times throughout the video. I had to, due to time limitations, record this review over several different parts and sessions, so at some points I may repeat myself because I forgot what I had and hadn't done in the previous recordings and didn't have time to review it beforehand. Also, my recording studio is hot and it was really hard to do this transformation in front of the camera for the combine mode, so it's gonna be a little messy. So just a heads up on that, and thank you for your patience. Now, back to the review/unboxing portion. See you there. Alright guys, now before we get to the unboxing here, I once again have to preface that I did panel line these guys, which will make it easier to see the details, but they do not come like that. I got bored with a marker, so that did happen. Also, I want to apologize in advance if this review or any of my previous ones, I had trouble keeping the camera in focus. It was really hard to do this on camera and to keep them in frame, especially for the combined modes of these guys specifically. Just because my camera setup is currently pretty limited. Sorry, had to adjust my chair there. My camera setup's pretty limited at the moment, so it's really hard for me to reach around and do this while keeping it inside this tiny little frame. But anyway, let's get to the unboxing. So, you're going to open it the exact same as you did on the other ones we've done so far. That is the wrong side of the box that I have open there. Open the tab, pull that out. Begin the old slide out as usual. Put the box off to the side. Remove the foam top as usual. As we've seen on all these guys, you get your 2 little instruction booklets. Then you get the figures very nicely packaged as usual. You get both the figures, Longhaul and Hook, and your little baggies of accessories, including the weapons which are stored in the figures. So we're going to start by pulling out Longhaul here and give him a good look-see. They are very nicely packed in there. There he is. Nicely packaged. He is a hefty, chunky boy. Very nicely detailed all around. Alright, set him off to the side. Pull out his brother here. Very long boy. Cursory glance at the figure. Alright, now as for their vehicle modes, these are amazingly well done. Especially Longhaul here. I love how hefty he is, chonky he is, and how he actually has a somewhat functional truck bed back here. Really nicely detailed all around. Underside, relatively clean with the integrated weapon storage under here forming some nice tail pipes. And as you can see, this is his iconic chest plate. It is incorporated into this guy, which is great. And unlike a lot of other Devastators out there, Longhaul here also forms the upper legs, as well as the lower torso. So everything is integrated, so there's no parts forming required for the combine mode. Now we got our good old hook here. Very nicely detailed all the way around. Some little die-cast metal here on the gas tanks. Nice and clean with a hint of purple. Nice little taillights here. This is the chest later. Underside, relatively clean. Got the integrated gun storage down here to fill this hollow space where the arms are. And yeah, and also as for articulation, as this guy does in fact have some, you have the hook here, which can be folded out and is on a double little hinge system, so you can move the assembly and the hook separately. The crane can move up and down on a nice ratchet. It can go all the way back if you wanted it to for some reason. And this does do a full 360. Oh, crane bopped the camera. Whoops. And also the arm can extend a pretty sizable distance there. Damn it, the camera. Yeah, so that is these two guys in their vehicle modes. Now for vehicle mode size comparison, we are going to pull out the usual suspect, as I have him transformed in vehicle mode still. We have Megatronus the Fallen, compared to the size of our truck there. Hold on, let me do this at a different angle. There we go. So here he is with Megatronus the Fallen on top. He is in vehicle mode, about double the size of a modern leader class. And here we go for Hook as well. He is a very long boy. And now let's compare him to our standard here on the channel so far, with our foot-long Dark Nemesis here. Hook is about 3 inches short of a foot here. I wish I had my tape measure so I could give you an actual measurement, but I'm forgetful and dumb sometimes. All right. My own hair just got caught in my microphone mount. Ow! Okay, and here, this guy is next to him. He is pretty chunky. Sorry if I didn't have any more vehicle mode size comparisons ready, but that is these two guys in their vehicle modes, and I absolutely love these guys. Now, as far as vehicle modes, these guys are my favorite of the bunch. And same actually goes for the robot mode. These are pretty much my favorite in robot mode as well. Now, as far as transformation, these are my least favorite. They're not hard by any means, but they are definitely more complicated than their brothers. Especially Hook here. Yeah, just because he's got a little more fiddly parts, but nothing too much. It's still very simple for a third-party combiner, and what they managed to do with these integrated combination forms with no parts forming is amazing. Now, Longhaul here, he has my favorite transformation out of these two, as he has a lot of really cool mass shifting going on, so we are going to start with him. Alright, now to get not Longhaul here into his robot mode, it's actually very simple, more complex than all the others so far, but still very enjoyable to do. So first, what you are going to want to do is, at least for now, just to get it out of the way, you're going to unpeg the wheels here. They peg into a peg inside there on both sides. And then you can go ahead and flip this whole section forward just to get it out of the way for now. Now, then we're going to start working on the back side of the vehicle. So all you're going to do is untab these tabs here on both sides. And that's going to let you take the leg assembly and shift it all down like that. And go ahead, just move this up and out of the way on a little double hinge there. Now we're going to work on the legs. So first, what you're going to want to do is pop open this tab and remove the gun, which pegs into the crotch plate there. Set this aside. His gun is also the only one without a magnet in it, so you will need Hook's magnet to turn on his little eye gimmick. Going to fold that crotch piece up till it goes all the way in. And then we can then go to the die-cast gas tanks here, pop them out on both sides. Then you can go ahead and separate the legs on this center tab here, just to get that out of the way. Now, we're going to start on one leg here. You're going to straighten it out on this hinge here. Straighten out that leg. Then you're going to pop this up, fold it up, tab it into the side there. Pop up the wheel. Flip this all the way around. And then fold down the foot, straighten out the foot here. And then this tab here is going to go into this slot here. Oop. Now, do the same thing on the other side. Alright, now that we got both legs done down here, we're going to come back up to the torso here. Let me adjust my camera angle. There we go. So for the upper body, what we're going to do first is we're going to rotate this around to get it out of the way. And go ahead and rotate the waist all the way around, so that the back is now facing the front. Then you're going to take these arms here, and you're going to pop them up, like that. Flip out this panel here to fill in the gap. Do the same thing on the other side. Pop it up. Flip out that panel. Tab it in to close that up. Then you're going to take this little side piece here, and it's on a double hinge. You're going to slide it up. Same thing on the other side. Slide it up. Now you can go ahead, now that you have the clearance, rotate the backpack back to its original position. And then you're going to take the arms up here and split them apart here at the top. And that's going to let you bring the arms down. Go ahead, straighten them out however you want. Now the final step here, and yep, that's already the final step. You're going to take the panel here up top that has the 04 on it, and you're going to swing it back, and you do have to flex a little bit. The only thing I don't like about this guy is you're going to pull it back over the purple bit. Boom, like that. And that's going to unveil our nice little bucket head here. You're going to tab what was part of the back of the truck onto the back. I mean, onto the where the neck is. Fold these in and push these back in like so. And that is your chest done. Now, one final step is to take these wheels now, and this little fork notch is going to wrap around the lip of this and hold that into place. And that's the back done. And here we have him in his robot mode. And he is a good-looking bot. Get him all in frame here. That is a good-looking robot right there. Alright, and there we have him in his robot mode. Completely done, and that is a good-looking robot. Now, we'll get to the details of him in a second, but now we gotta go work on Hook. Alright, now as for Hook here, he is the most complicated out of all 6. But he's still, in order to get to robot mode, he's not that hard. In fact, by third-party standards, he's still crazy easy. But he is the hardest out of the bunch. And it's actually harder to get him into combine mode than anything. But that's expected, to be honest. Alright, so what we are going to do here first is... Hold on, I gotta remember my order of operations here. Alright, let's do the legs first, just because they are the hardest bit and I want to get out of the way. So, sorry, let me adjust that. Okay, so you're going to untab these black bits from the side, pull them out, and temporarily just move them out of the way. Same thing on the other side. Untab from the side, slide down. Sorry, this die-cast part is removable, so it might pop off on you. That's fine. No harm, no foul. Then what you're gonna do is what you'd expect. You're gonna split the legs down the middle, and this is kind of the tricky part because it's like a little bit of a clearance nightmare. You're gonna want to fold out this bit on one side, just on one side, so that you can now access the other side to do the same. Flip this up, make sure it is out of the way, like so. Then you're just gonna slide the leg down on a double hinge. You have this big die-cast metal arm here. You're gonna slide this down. And there is a tab, there's a tab right here, this gray tab that's gonna go into this slot here. Tab that in. And now for the slightly tricky part, not too hard to keep on camera though. You're going to fold out this tab so that it's straightened out like that. Bring this down, and you have a bunch of different attachment points. You got to get this open slot here to slide onto the slot on the inside of the leg, as well as get this tab here into this slot, and then this tab here is going to go into a slot right here. Could be a little tricky to get it all lined up, but once you do, it's kind of just a little bit of finagling around. Can't believe I'm using the word finagle. It makes me feel old as hell, and I'm not that old. Curse you, grandmother. Alright, and then you're just going to fold this down on top and boom, lock that into place. Then you're going to take this panel here, flip it out, tab it into the bottom, and that's your foot. You're going to flip out the toe, flip out the heel, and you are done with that leg. Now, second verse, just like the first, on the other side. Alright, once you got that down on the other side, that is both legs done. Alright, now for the upper body, what we're going to do here is first we're going to remove the blaster, which is just pegged in with this little focus camera. This tab here goes into that slot in there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to untab the arms here and fold it out here, get it out of the way. Go ahead and fold this panel down and straighten out the arm. Now do the second side the exact same way. Pop it out, move it aside, fold down that panel, straighten it out, and there you have both arms. Now for the rest of the torso, you're going to want to bend it here, and that's going to undo all of these tabs. You're going to fold the back kind of down onto itself, and that's going to allow you the clearance you need to flip down the chest. Oh, and I gotta adjust my camera here. Alright, so then you can fold down the chest, straighten it out, and that'll let you flip out the head, fish it out. And then this whole assembly is going to slide down on that double hinge. The back is going to peg into itself. And then, to complete the transformation, you just push down the torso. And then take these two panels here and push them back to give it a nice rounded chest. And that is actually the robot mode already complete. I made that sound way harder than it actually was. Alright, now we have him in his robot mode. But before we go to articulation and detail, there is one little other thing you can do. On the arm here, you can pull this out, like you're going to extend it. Pull out this here, this cannon tip, and it will fold down on this double hinge and tab into the front of the crane there. Then you can just nicely fold up this however you wish, push that back in, flip it around to the front, and boom, baby, shoulder cannon. I can't even get this to focus correctly because of depth perception. But yeah, big gun for my boy here. Alright, now that we got both these guys in their robot modes, take a quick look at their accessories. Of course, you have the exact same light up gimmick. So if you use the magnet on my boy's gun here, it can be a little tricky to find the sweet spot as usual. Come on, buddy. Oh, I had it. I had it for a second. Let me use a different gun. That one's a little harder to do with. Let me use that. There we go. Eyes on him. Eyes on him. There we go with our nice villainous glow. Now, as for their accessories, they have the exact same light-up batteries and everything as everyone else. Here we have Longhaul's gun. Nice double-barreled, seemingly automatic pistol with a little bit of purple and black detailing. And then for hooks here, we have this little extendable, like a stun gun thing. Yeah. And they just plug into their hands exactly as you would expect. Of course, only Longhaul can hold his weapon, and he can't hold anyone else's weapon because of his big chonkin' fists. Alright, so there you have it, guys. These two in their robot modes. And I gotta say, I love the look of these guys. I love how bulky and stocky this guy is, and he's gonna do some crazy mass shifting later for his combination mode. And Hook here, I like how, I don't know why, he definitely looks like the leader. I know canonically Mixmaster's the leader, which is so weird. He's the foot. Doesn't make sense to me. But I love these bulky, nice, strong-looking shoulders here. I love the way they handled the braces and stuff on the legs. It looks super nice. I just love these guys. I love their robot modes, although their transformation, especially Hooks here, can be a little fiddly, especially in combined mode. And as I said in the intro, pardon if this review is a little sloppier, especially for the combined mode transformation. But also, when I sat down to do the combined mode part, I wasn't in the best of mood, and my recording room was so hot for some reason. So I was a little flustered, so sorry if I get that a little messed up. But alright, let's move on to details and articulation. But alright, let's first take a look at the details of our buddy Tipper, aka not Longhaul. Alright, take a nice look at that head sculpt. Very nice bucket head design, the only one with a silver head. And just like our previously reviewed figures, he does have a light up feature. Nice glowing red visor there, looks really nice. Alright. I really like the chest design and how it wraps around the chest, and this actually becomes the lower half of the torso. I mean the groin, actually, technically, which is interesting how they engineered that. As you can see, the side of the legs is very clean. The back of the legs and the back itself is looking really nice. I like how they give him like a really, a very practical looking like placement of vehicle parts for the backpack. It's actually very clean, and it kind of makes sense with that placement. Same on the bottom. Actually looks kind of like he's got thrusters on him, so he can just fly away. Sorry, bumped the camera. But yeah, very nicely detailed figure. Lots of silver, a little bit of gold detailing as well. Nice big platform feet that are very sturdy. Nice little caution detailing there that wouldn't be visible in the vehicle mode. Even more little caution detailing there if the camera will focus. Yep. Lots and lots of nice detail on this figure. And unlike the others, they don't just reposition, because a lot of this would not be seen in vehicle mode. Alright. Now, as for articulation, he has a ball joint at the head, and it can swivel pretty far, but his collar does get in the way of a full 360 rotation. He can look up that far, down, not too far. He does have a double jointed shoulder, so he can go with just the first joint on this arm. He can go out about that far, but then he can go all the way up to do a full T-pose. This one, just due to the nature of the shoulder design here, he actually can't do the double hinged shoulder, but he can still go all the way out to a nice T-pose. He's got a bicep swivel, bend more than 90 degrees at the arm there, and a 360 rotation on the hand, but no articulated fingers, which is fine. He is very chug. Now, he does have a waist swivel, if I can grab it. Hard to reach around the camera like this. He does have a waist swivel. He has a thigh swivel as well. And he can do the full splits if you wanted him to. He can go back to about there and forward right at 90. The knee can go right to 90, and if you move the tire out of the way, it can go further. Very, very clicky ratchet joints. He also has a little bit of ankle tilt and forward toe tilt due to the transformation, but it does kind of unveil some stuff there. And his foot, unfortunately, cannot go forward, but that's fine. Not too much posability needed for this guy. Alright, now let's take a quick look at his brother over here. So for him, beautiful head sculpt. Very G1. Really like it, and of course, he has the same light up feature. Where's your lights, buddy? Where's your lights? Lights. Camera. Action, please. There we go. Nice light up set of red visors there. Really cool. And as for his details here, I really like the chest design, how it kind of wraps around the side. That's actually the combined mode head right there forming the abs. Really nice placement of that. I like how the side struts become the front of the legs. Very nicely detailed. Got some nice detail on the inside of the leg as well as the outside. I really like the kind of muscular shoulders this figure has going on as well. Same detail as the vehicle mode on this one. Really nice, clean backpack. It's just the cannon arm and only the cannon arm. And the front cab becomes the feet there. Alright, now as for articulation, give me just a second. Oh. You're dead. You're dead to me, son. Alright, give me just a second. Sorry, for some reason it was super hot in here. Had to go turn on the fan. Alright, so as for articulation, his head is on a ball joint, so it can do a full 360, although you gotta have him look up a little bit, because he does have a not a cleft chin, he's got a little of a bazooka chin there that kind of gets in the way, but not too much. He can look up that far, down a little bit, tilt head side to side. Shoulders are on a double hinge, so he can go out that far on the first hinge, and T-pose on the second hinge. Bicep rotation, bend slightly past 90, and he also has wrist rotation, although sometimes these metal things get in the way. Luckily, they do just pop off, so you can pop them off and rotate the wrist. He has a waist swivel, a pretty decent one. If you move the skirts, he can go forward that far, and if you move the backpack about that far. Thigh swivel as mentioned. He does bend to 90 at least on the knee. And he does have a little bit of a toe tilt and a heel tilt. And he can ankle tilt about that far. So, not bad on the posability department as well. Alright, now, I'm gonna see if I can get these guys to actually stand back up now, since I screwed up their posing. Alright. Now, as for size comparison, I'm going to try to bring in a few more this time. We'll start with the usual. Here he is with Studio Series Leader Scourge. Yep, they are pretty tall. These two are slightly bigger than the ones we've reviewed so far, but not by too much. Here they are with Gamer Prime. He's so small compared to them. Here they are with Core Class Mohawk. He's tiny, and he's so scared he died. Here he is with another member of their own team for size comparison. They are definitely bulkier than him, but they're about the same height. Here they are with Movie Masterpiece Blackout. So they are pretty comparable in size, still about maybe an inch or so shorter at the head. And lastly but not leastly, here they are next to Deluxe Class Solus Prime and Voyager Class Prima Prime for some more recent scale examples. And as you can see, they are very large compared to standard mainline figures. Alright, now with that out of the way, all we have left is to get them into their combined modes. So give me a second to get that set up, and I'll see you there. Alright guys, now as far as the combined modes for these guys, they are a little more difficult than their counterparts, but it's still pretty easy. We're going to start with Longhaul here. He is the easier of the two, and he's pretty straightforward. So you're basically going to want to turn his upper body back into vehicle mode. So what you're going to do is you're going to move his chest down out of the way so that you can put his head back. And just go like you were turning it back into vehicle mode. Sorry, let me adjust the camera here. Then you're going to flip up the arms, lock them into place, fold down the arm tab, and then for combine mode, you're going to make sure you have the back of the fist facing the numbered side of the arm. And you're going to go ahead and bring this back down to its regular position and snap everything back in place. It's been a while since I've done this, guys, so bear with me. Might be a little bit of a tight fit. There we go. Do the same thing on the other side. Alright, now that you've got that done on both sides, the next thing you should do is come down to the legs here. Actually, first, I would recommend flipping this up to its eventual final position and moving this out of the way for now. It's probably going to flop around a little bit, but that's fine. So, come down to the legs, make sure they're all straightened out. And then what you're going to do is give them the splits, rotate the leg 180, bring it down, and then twist it at the rotation there at the thigh. Repeat the same on the other side, rotate, flip around, bring it down, rotate again, boom. Then you're going to take this crotch section here and you're going to flip the waist around. Sorry, I just bumped the camera, didn't mean to do that. Straighten this out. It's really hard to get this on camera. And then you're going to use the double, if I can get it on camera. There's a double hinge in here. You're going to want to push it down and then bring it up on the double hinge so that this little notch here tabs into the corresponding tab there. And boom, there is your waist done. Now for the rest of the legs here, what you're going to do is you're going to detach the wheel. You're going to straighten out the foot like you were going back into vehicle mode. Then what you do is you're going to essentially pop out the knee, which can be a little tough sometimes. It's actually easier to do it from the bottom. You're going to push up here, and that's going to let you slide up the whole leg assembly. And then this big silver tab here is going to tab into a slot on the inside of the leg. Take a little finagling to get it in there just right. There we go. Sorry, I had trouble get that on camera. Let me do the same thing on the other side. Let me try to do it a little more clear. Bloop. 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 Slide it up. Attach it to its new home. And then the final steps for the legs here is you're going to fold up the gas tank, tab it in, and then the tab on the gas tank is going to go to the tab on the back of the leg here. Boom, that is done. Same thing on the other side. Fold in the tab, pop that into place, and boom. Flip these back down, and go ahead and put up the chest and flip out the chest wings, and boom, there you have him in his combined mode as the lower torso and upper legs of the figure. And this guy is gonna be big because just the combined mode by itself, hold on, let me put him on his feet. It's gonna look goofy, but it'll help him stand. There he is. And just compared to the figure, he actually got bigger somehow. The mass shifting is insane. All right. Now, let's work on this guy. Give me just a moment. Okay, now, as for Hook here, he is the most complicated figure in the set of 6, as far as basically all of his transformations go, but especially the combine mode. And depending on your copy, there might be some caveats or some adjustments you might have to make. And no fault of the figure. Just some tolerance issues I had with my copy that might also occur in yours. But alright, so first, it's been a while since I've done this, so give me a moment to remember how it goes. Alright, so what you're going to do is you are going to straighten out the arms and put them back as if you were going back to vehicle mode. You know, straighten them out, bring them out, and then what we're going to do is going to, just to get out of the way, we're going to flip the backpack hook up, and then you're going to undo the chest. Detach it from the back so that you can begin sliding it up. And that's going to free up the head compartment for the combine mode, but I'm going to save that for last. Then the next step is to take the arms, once you fold back in the head, and push this back up to its original position. Sorry, this guy gets really tall during transformation. I adjust the camera a lot. And you're going to tab in the arms. See these key slots here? They're going to slide into these here. Press that in. It's going to slide in nice and smooth. Do the same thing on the other side. Oop. And that's going to give you a good chunk of the torso ready to go. Then, what you're going to do is you're next going to work on the legs. Now, this is going to be flopping around a lot, kind of in your way. To temporarily stop that, I would say tab in the silver grate here into the black. There's 2 slots here. And that'll reduce its floppiness while you're doing the rest of this. Sorry, it's really hard to keep this on camera. Hold on, give me a sec. Alright, I moved the torso out of the way, tabbed it back into the back, just so I can show you the leg part of the transformation with the back flopping around. Alright, so what you're going to want to do is you want to come down to the legs. You're going to want to undo this and then unfold the leg. Now, just a heads up, I should let you know that this leg is designed so it can come apart in case you have some clearance issues or anything like that. So, it can come apart during transformation. That's fine. No fault of the figures, it's designed that way, so don't worry if that happens. Alright, so you're going to go ahead, flip this up. You're going to start folding it back up as if you were going back into vehicle mode, but not quite all the way. You're going to flip this up until it clicks in there. Now we can officially start sliding up the leg, and what you're going to do is you're going to double hinge it to where it's at this 90-degree angle like this, and then you're going to fold this in to the cavity now, and that's all we can do for this leg so far. Do the same thing on the other side. Alright, once you got both sides at this nice little weird 90-degree angle thing, if you haven't already, go ahead and fold up the feet and put them back where they would go in vehicle mode. Tap them into the side of the leg, do the same thing on the other side real quick. And sorry if I didn't do all of this on camera, it's kind of hard to do with my hands in front of the camera like this, without, like, bumping the mic. Alright, and then what you're gonna do here is you're gonna take the legs, and there's actually a hinge inside of the groin here. Sorry if you can't see it, but you're gonna pop that out. It can be a little tough and tricky depending on how you're doing it. Here, let me do it off camera and I'll show you the joint. Alright, oh shit. Alright, so you might be able to see it now. There is a... It's really hard to show because it's black. Focus for me there, camera. Come on, camera. There we go. See that little hinge there? This ratchet joint is on this hinge. You're going to pop this out. And just a caveat here. Depending on the tolerances on your figure, I might recommend slightly sanding this down or filing it down, because it can be really hard to get these legs out. So sometimes the trick with these legs is to move the skirt out of the way. You're going to bring it up, you know, straighten it back, and then you're going to pop it up. And that sometimes disconnects it. It just did for me. There we go. All right, now for the fun part. Now, once you get the legs separated at that hinge, you're going to pull these hinges out on both sides. It can be a little tricky to do it, but depending on your tolerances, I actually recommend sanding that down to make it a little easier. Sorry if this transformation's a little more sloppy. This one is very hard to do on camera. It's not complicated though. All right, and then before you finish the legs and work on the torso, you're gonna flip these back, flip this out. So flip this up, flip this out, and then you're gonna fold this back as if you were going back to the vehicle mode. Same thing on the other side. Pull that out. Pull it up. Pull this thing out. Fold that all the way up. Sorry if that's hard to see. And then what we're gonna do here is you're gonna take this on that newly created hinge we have here. Pull this back, and you're gonna want to get it all the way to 90 degrees. Sometimes the head of the combined mode can get in the way. Just open that up a little bit if you want to get the clearance. And what you're gonna do is that there's these slots in here, really hard to see, sorry. And you're gonna want these to go in between those slots, and then you're gonna grab this and slide it back to lock it into place. Now on my copy, these little tabs here were very secure, a little too secure, so it was really hard, felt like I was forcing it. Now, not a problem with the figure, just some tolerances on mine that you may want to fix on yours. I recommend filing those down just a little bit to give them a little bit of a round edge. That way this, when it comes back, can snap neatly into place. Now do the same thing on the other side, bring it back to where those things slot in, and give it a nice little bit of, sometimes it takes a little effort. There we go, snapped it into place. Then, to lock everything else into place, what we are going to do is you're going to open up these shoulder panels here, fold out the combine mode port, and make sure it tabs down into place. Flip this up. Then, you're going to take the fist here, turn it slightly outwards to make things easier for yourself, and fold this down and push it into that peg there so he's holding it. Then you can flip this down, and then you're going to take the two tabs on here and tab them into the side of the arm. And that creates a very secure connection. Do the same thing on the other side, although this side is a little bit different. You're going to flip this up, pull out that combiner mode port, and then you're going to flip up this to cover up the hole you just created. Flip this back, do the same thing with the fist on this side, rotate the fist out slightly, tab it into the side there. Sorry if the camera is having trouble staying focused. And tab this into the side of the arms. Very secure connection. Close that up, and then lastly, as I showed earlier, you can take the silver panel, push it down, and it will lock the back into place. And I'm not going to flip out the head to save that for later. But there you have the entire upper torso done. Might need to do some minor adjusting. And that is the upper torso done. Alright, now I'm not going to put these two guys together in this video. I'm going to save that for the full combiner team when I have them all together. Also, apologies if the transformation for this segment was a little sloppy. It was really hard to do that in front of the camera. I've probably mentioned that like 10 times by now. But that was really hard to do in front of this camera. These guys are kind of big. Also, my recording studio gets hella hot with all these lights on. But alright, without further ado, let's get to the end of this review. Alright guys, well this has been my review of Giant Legion GLA-03 Craner and GLA-04 Tipper, aka not Hook and not Longhaul. And I gotta say, I absolutely love these guys. They are a little more complex than the rest of their team, but they are still an amazing group of figures here, and I cannot wait to show you in the next episode the full combination. Oh, didn't mean to boop your cannon there. So, if you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, share the video, hit the bell notification icon and know when I upload new stuff, and check out my gaming channel. It needs the love. But next time we will be looking at the full combined form and finally seeing this full team together. Can't wait to see you there. Anyways, this has been Dovault. I'll see you in the next one. Don't do that. Bye-bye.